Hi, Mawiga. I am Ifashina Efanyemi. I'm from Belize and I work with promoting empowerment through awareness for lesbian and bisexual women, PETAL. I also work with the Productive Organization for Women in Action. So I'm a co-founder of both of those organizations and I'm involved in advocacy, particularly for women and young persons. And I am also an educator, so I teach at a junior college in my community and I have been doing advocacy since I was a teenager. And now I am an OutRight fellow, and I'm looking forward to this experience for this year in terms of being exposed to a lot of information, strategizing, and just understanding the UN mechanism. So I'm glad to be here.
So hi, I am Lua. I am from Brazil. I work in an organization called Libertarian Union of Transgender Women and Travestis as well. Basically, what we do there, we work with the empowerment of trans people alongside with other trans organizations in Brazil. And last year we did a campaign for the depathologization of trans identities in Brazil. We also did a research on employability and discrimination in the labor market against trans and gender non-conforming people. And I was really happy to come here and to be chosen as the 2019 fellows from OutRight because it is a way to legitimize our work in the local levels and also to engage in this global level with our priorities and our demands and what we want to bring to the local level.
My name is Yvonne Odor. I work with the Gay and Lesbian Coalition of Kenya in Kenya. What GALC, the Gay and Lesbian Coalition of Kenya, does is try to provide a safe and enabling environment for LGBTQ people. GALC is a coalition of 16 organizations spread across Kenya, and we are based in Nairobi. I'm so happy and so excited to be one of the OutRight Fellows for 2019. It's really affirming to know the number of people who applied for this fellowship and to be one of the 4 people who was chosen. Like, that already is enough affirmation of the work that we do back at home. And this is an avenue to bring grassroots level, national level advocacy, regional level advocacy to the international platform, and to and to understand the UN mechanisms as well, and to see how then those can trickle down to the work that we're doing, and that how our work can also be brought up to this level. So it's been a very exciting experience for me to be at the Commission on the Status of Women.
And I come from Botswana. I am an international skill donor, is the way I like to present myself. I work in human rights and in communications and development planning. And as an independent worker, getting this fellowship was actually an interesting, as Yvonne said, affirmation of the kind of work that I've been putting in over many years. And the beauty of this is the fact that it is still along the trajectory of the work that I want to keep doing. OutRight as an organization has done such a great job of being able to create this avenue, and for it to be used as a way of not just saying there are activists around the world and we know that they're doing the work and we're here at the United Nations with this access, but to say let us give them access through our own work to ensure that they too can be a bit more effective. So I'm happy that as a creatively driven person, I'm also able then to bring that creativity into some of this humanitarian work that I'm doing.
So we had expectations coming into this fellowship, and especially coming into CSW. We can talk a little bit about that. Like, what were those expectations? Were they met? How do we feel right now, being the last day?
The various meetings that we were able to attend, well, I was looking forward to making connections with people, and I made a lot of new people, influential people, even people who are doing this work. And when you talked about affirming the work that you do at home, that felt really good, even with the Women's Rights Caucus, the LBTI Caucus, knowing how organizations are functioning. Each of us, the things we're doing in our own countries, and then meeting more people who are doing some of the same things and working so hard in their countries. It's really, really empowering and encouraging, even.
Pretty anxious, but then I met all of you and it was so lovely. So this was amazing. I felt so much love from OutRight, from the other fellows, from the fellows from last year. The influence and how would be the role of Brazil within the CSW, especially because the Brazilian action internationally has shifted from last year because of the new government, and I wasn't sure like how it would work this year, how they would present themselves, and how they would engage in this institution which is the UN. So
Did you get to meet any of them?
And I didn't get to meet any of them, like personally. I only got this experience during my panel with Kat,
Yes.
because Brazilian delegation was there and they made a comment on in the end of the panel, and that was the only engagement I had with them, which was also really good because I could express how the trans issues in Brazil are not being seen by the Brazilian government as a serious issue, because the comment they made wasn't at the same level as what we are seeing in Brazil in reality.
So one of my expectations was really that this would be something more than just, hey, look, we had money, we are giving it, we're using it to back this person. And I wanted it to be rigorous work. I wanted it to be educational. And as you said, the strategies that we've seen in play, the people who we've then also been able to engage with, and how we've been able to engage with them, and the kind of support that we've received as well from OutRight has made it really that much more exciting for as a beginning, because we are still here for many more months. And so especially with CSW, the Botswana position I didn't know it, right? And so then getting to meet the Botswana delegation was a great part of at least announcing that there are independents who also make their way in, not as delegates. One day, hopefully I'll become a delegate. But it was an opportunity. It felt like, yes, we're going somewhere. We're getting somewhere. Yeah.
Exactly.
What about you, Ivan?
It felt a little bit of everything that you've said. Coming in, I was like honestly looking forward for a learning opportunity for me. It's the first time I'm engaging in the UN mechanisms. I had no idea what CSW would look like. I was super anxious and nervous about the expectations of me in this space. But then I feel like I have learned so much, like even just as something as small as the opposition in my country. Like now I have a face, I have a face and a name for the person who, for example, works with Citizen Go, who like have a whole bus that is anti-abortion, anti-sexual reproductive health and rights, anti-trans. So now we have a name and a face, and that's really important for the work that we're doing back home to know who we are up against, right? So meeting people, having conversations with people like you guys are so amazing, doing amazing things in your own country. I have a stack of business cards, if that's anything to go by, of all the people that I interacted with during my time here. I did not have the chance to meet the Kenyan delegation. I'm not really sure at this particular point that would have made much difference. But then when I go home, now that I know them, those are conversations we can start having and being like, when you're in these spaces, what are we saying? What are we standing for? How can we educate so that you're more equipped to speak on our behalf? So things like that, like the access has been super amazing. Yeah.
You know, one of the things I looked at from the handout, because that's another thing that I appreciated from OutRight, that training before before the actual commission
It was
began.
super important.
Yes, because that really kind of set the tone for us, like what to expect.
Exactly.
I did get to speak to their first secretary. He said that he had been going to their meetings, and the thing I was happy to hear about was the fact that Belize would maintain its position, which is a progressive one. We would not regress to anything that we have not been agreeing to in the past, or even if we had agreed to it in the past and we have changed our position, we are not going to go back to what we used to think or do.
Interestingly enough, with this, I think the greatest challenge was waking up. Because you know, you've got these very, very full days, and then you're just like, oh, my brain has done so much work, and then you eventually get to bed, and then you have this deep, deep, deep sleep, and then you think, okay, we've got to go strategize again in the morning. Let's do it. So that, you know, finding the drive to keep going, because it's a very short period of time with a lot of work in it.
Yeah.
And that was kind of one of the major tests.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it necessarily was too much of an obstacle or a challenge.
Yeah.
And thankfully, you know, being able to finesse my way into spaces that would otherwise be inaccessible without prior engagement, without prior notice, was good. That was another thing that I learned. You know, a hustle is a hustle.
Yeah.
You know, and especially
and you're a hustler.
especially at this level,
Yeah.
you know, if you want to see a minister and somebody's trying to gatekeep, you don't take no for an answer.
You have to scale
If
those
need be, talk to the person that minister's talking to, and just chip in. And then once you've chipped in, and then, you know, let your point ride on that. So those were some of the other things. I think one of the things that I can definitely say, we wouldn't necessarily think it's that kind of behavior that it should be operating here. But some of the lessons are that the things that we are doing on the ground are being thought of up at this level, but some of the people who are up at this level don't know how to effectively communicate those.
Yeah.
So those were the other thing. Those are the takeaways of, don't underestimate your representatives. Add to what they might already know. Yeah. What about you, Luan?
Yeah. I feel like the most challenging situation was also to find myself in these spaces.
Yeah.
And because most of the time, people have they're working a lot, and they don't have time to be guiding you all the time. So sometimes I felt really lost. But then I found myself after 1 or 2 days. I found myself, and I could see what was going on.
Yeah.
And it is a learning experience, actually, to be in those spaces, and to have to be ready all the time for all the information that will come to you. But I think OutRight was amazing. They really anything that I had any doubt or anything that I was not in anything that I was lost, they explained and they tried to make us feel better.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, similar, like feeling like you're getting a lot of information at the same time, and you're just like how to like put them in compartments so that you don't get overwhelmed, like what it means to sit at the couch, what exactly are we doing here, what it means to be in that space, you know, like just one of those things where you're just like trying to pick spaces where you're supposed to be in. At times they're like 3 panels on the same day, how to choose which panels to go to, like how to support your colleagues without necessarily overwhelming yourself, like just the balance, just finding the balance was one of the challenges. And then I did not bring the correct shoes to New York. So by the 3rd day I was limping because everyone here walks for some reason and we don't walk as much back home. So yeah, lesson learned, bring the correct shoes and the correct clothes for the season. So it was super cold and the rain, and if you're not prepared, that's already enough like to make you have a cold, to make you feel sick, and that how you're supposed to go back to the UN if you're sick, you know. So just simple things like those, like just paying attention to detail so that you're able to be 100% prepared for the situation. So next time I come back, I will come with the right shoes, I will come prepared, I will come, good thing it will be in the summer, so yay, and I'm super excited for the next time at the UN. What are you?
And it being in the summer, I also am very pleased about that because I love the summer. I am a summer girl, you know. It's warmer. I can deal with that kind of weather much better. And I'm looking forward to the high-level political forum because I've never been to that one either. CSW was my first, and HLPF will be my first. So I'm looking forward to that also, and to see if it's similar. What are the similarities? What are the differences between the two different meetings that happen? I'm looking forward to all that there will be to learn, and based on the lessons from this experience, I'm planning on being more prepared when I come back in July.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say I'm looking forward to building on connections that I've already started. You know, the stack of business cards that you mentioned. It's always great to have them, but then what do you do with them?
Exactly.
Becomes
What's
the mission.
Exactly.
You know, and you don't always have to talk to all the people at the same time at the same rate. So being able to strategize as well.
Yes.
I'm definitely looking forward to getting that delegate status, right? And seeing how much more we are able to navigate and manipulate this space with now that we've got this experience in the summer.
Yes. I think that's amazing. I think our lives are going to be changed a lot.
Yeah.
And especially now that we are going back, we're gonna see like how this gonna have an impact in every single activities or projects or plans that we have in our countries.
Especially with Beijing Plus 25.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Yeah, exactly. And all the strategy that we've learned here, my goodness, like just how to organize strategically to get that one, even if it's just one outcome, just focusing on that and all putting your energies and strategies into that, and then opening avenues for the others. I'm definitely taking that back home. I can't wait.
Yeah, because this is another challenge as well, because we come here with a lot of expectations that we want to engage in a lot of issues, different issues. We want to, for the final agreement conclusions should be like, oh my God, it's gonna change the world. And it's and we learned that it's not like that. Like we need to focus on one change or one single issue that we want to impact, and it's gonna be like babe steps until we get somewhere. We're gonna really see like the big change.
The big change, the changing of the world.
Yes.